This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
After a very dry January, a storm system is heading into our area tonight and bringing snow and rain with it. How long it will stick around as Storm Watch tops Channel 2 News at 5 o'clock. Could that be the fabulous February
that we've been waiting for months?
And praying for?
Yes.
Well, maybe, because in the next 24 hours, a lot of moisture headed our way. Good evening, everybody. I'm Wendy DeMonte.
I'm Kristen Remington. Thanks for being with us tonight. Did you see all those rainbows out there earlier today, too?
Only on your Facebook page.
Well, thanks for checking it out. Okay, we begin with Storm Watch team coverage for you tonight. Chief Meteorologist Mike Algers in the Weather Center with a look at how much rain and snow we'll get. And Chloe Beardsley is live in North Reno after speaking with scientists at the Desert Research Institute about using cloud seeding to enhance all this moisture. Okay,
Yeah,
Mike,
very good.
Let's start with you.
Well, you know, you talk about a fabulous February. It may just be a just-in-time January here, because most of all of this is going to happen here prior to us finishing the month of January. It looked like last week we're going to get through the whole month of January without any measurable precipitation. Now it looks like there's a real possibility we could end up with almost an average in one day, average precipitation total for the whole month, because this is a very, very wet system. A lot of cloud cover now. We're really not into the meat of it at this point. If you look at what's happening across there, first of all, take a look at the radar. We are piling a lot of moisture up right now on the western slopes of the Sierra. Now at this point, we are getting shadowed out pretty effectively. Every once in a while, you're going to see a little bit kind of spill over now and again. But this is not the main portion of this one system here. There's a really a little bit of a merging going on between a couple of things. You got a low pressure system up here to the north of us that is going to merge in with the flow coming up here out of the ocean. And this is one of those classic atmospheric rivers, pineapple connections, whatever you want to call it. And as these two things kind of get together overnight tonight, we're not only going to enhance the amount of precipitation, which is already more than an inch of rain at some locations north Lake Tahoe, but it's also going to start dropping snow levels overnight tonight as we go into tomorrow. If you look at the next 24 hours, the future satellite and radar kind of stalls out a nice little band over us before we get a little bit of a break tomorrow, and it could turn to snow down here as well. Now, I've been getting a lot of emails from people because they see the clouds and they say, hey, are they turning on the cloud seeding generators? Are they seeding these clouds? And I try to tell them that you got to wait until the storm starts before that occurs. Plus, there are some other requirements for a storm. Now, speaking of cloud seeding, Chloe Beardsley, who, by the way, is now full-time with us here, is going to do some reporting for us during the week on environmental issues. Chloe, first of all, we are starting to see some storm up there, but that doesn't mean they've necessarily turned those cloud seeding generators on yet. Is that correct?
That's right, Mike. I mean, I'm freezing out here, but it's still too warm for them to actually start the cloud seeding process. Now, I talked to researchers who just told me a few minutes ago that they actually are thinking about starting the process closer to midnight when it gets a lot colder. There are 5 different locations in the Tahoe Basin that they will be using with those generators to do the cloud seeding. And this time of year, it's one of the lowest that they've had these operations done, 1/5 of what they typically see at this point in the season.
What we hope to be able to do is seed the storms as intelligently and as optimally as possible so that we really get the most water out of them that we possibly can.
Jeff Tilley is the director of the weather modification at the Desert Research Institute and has studied it for almost 2 decades. He says cloud seeding isn't anything new. It's been done since the 1960s. Cloud seeding works by using ground-based generators and planes to release silver iodide into the clouds during a storm to generate more precipitation. Seeding doesn't create the storm, it just enhances it by squeezing more water out of the clouds. The DRI estimates cloud seeding adds about 10% more moisture to the air, but it needs very specific conditions to happen.
We need airflow up over the Sierra barrier from the west and going to the east or the northeast typically. We need temperatures at about 10,000 foot level between about 23 above and -4 Fahrenheit. And we need those conditions to persist for a few hours at least.
Cloud seeding stations are operated remotely. For example, like a computer at the Desert Research Institute, and these computers turn the cloud seeding on and off.
In an average year, billions of gallons of moisture are collected from the cloud seeding. Tilley says it's not likely we will reach that number this year because of our dry start to the winter, but this latest storm is expected to help.
The current forecasts are expecting at higher elevations anywhere between 1 to 2 feet of snow. And we would expect anywhere from about an extra 1.5 to 3 inches.
And DRI researchers also wanted me to clarify that they are not using drones at this time to do the cloud seeding. The drone cloud seeding program is actually still in the very beginning stages, and that process is not likely to start until next year, and testing with the drones will start next fall. Covering Stormwatch, I'm Chloe Beardsley, Channel 2 News.
Drones everywhere these days, though. Okay, Chloe, thank you. And whenever wintry weather hits, you definitely want to be extra careful out there on the roads. So be sure to check the road conditions and possible restrictions before you head out the door by dialing 511.